You know how a lot of children are afraid of the dark? Where does that come from, do you think? That primal instinct, that impulse to be afraid of what you can no longer see. Say you're a child. It's nighttime, you've brushed your teeth and put on your pajamas, and your mom comes in to tuck you into bed and to kiss you goodnight. And just for a moment, everything is calm and peaceful and perfect. But then suddenly she turns off the light and closes the door, and suddenly you're alone. You're engulfed and wrapped in this cold, terrifying void. At least that's what it feels like. And everyone tells you, it's okay, there's nothing to be scared of. But you know better. Any number of terrifying things could be lurking in the darkness and you never know because you can't see. You're enclosed in this all-encompassing darkness and you're afraid that something unseen or unexpected could appear at any time. If only you could see what was happening. Then, and only then, would you be safe. Even though you know what your room looks like in the daytime. You've checked in the closet, searched under the bed 100 times already. You know there's nothing there. But suddenly, as soon as the lights go out, anything's possible. Isn't that strange? As adults, we think we've outgrown our fear of the dark. Or, for some of us, we boast that we were never quite so ignorant as to indulge in a fear that's so silly or childish or immature. I mean, can't you just turn on the light? It seems like a pretty easy fix if you ask me. But I'd argue that a fear of the dark is something that everyone experiences. It's something intrinsic and instinctual in us that no one really outgrows. Because as we grow up, it just changes form. In essence, a fear of the dark is a fear of the unknown. Raise your hand if you've ever been afraid to try something new, or been worried about entering a new environment, or been anxious about all the uncertainties in life. It's easy and normal to be afraid of what you don't understand. However, when people are willing to open up about those fears, we call them silly and childish and immature because we don't want to be seen as weak. But vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's how you know you're still alive. Why do we shame people for expressing their struggles and concerns? Vulnerability is the essence of what it means to be human. So really, it's okay to be afraid of the dark, because it's only in the darkness that our humanity shines through. Dear little girl, be careful of the things you say and the thoughts you keep. Your words have power. You keep thinking you're alone, so you make it true. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Stop pushing those who love you away. Dear little girl, you've always had what you needed. Dear little girl, you are stronger than you think you are. Dear little girl, it's okay to believe that things can get better. It's okay to choose hope. It's okay to allow yourself to trust that good things can happen. You don't have to keep waiting for everything to fall apart, because if you keep waiting for it to happen, you'll be the one to cause it. Dear little girl, you've had a lot of hurt, but you don't need to let it tie you down. You don't need to hold on to it and cling to it and let it define you. It's okay to grow past it. It's okay to forgive others and forgive yourself. You don't have to be what other people made you feel like you are. Dear little girl, you faced hurt and abuse and betrayal. You've questioned your identity and your worth and your worthiness. But you don't have to keep looking for other people to recognize you, to know that you are valid. Dear little girl, you will find a place where you belong. Maybe not forever, but for now. Dear little girl, you have people that love you. You always have, you always will. And I don't want you to miss that, thinking you have to be a certain way or someone you're not. Life is not a TV sitcom, and it's not going to look picture perfect all the time. Dear little girl, have you forgiven yourself yet? I know you think to yourself that maybe if you were stronger, maybe if you were braver, maybe if you weren't so afraid, maybe if you were nicer or more amicable, then it wouldn't have happened to you. As if it is somehow your fault, but it isn't. Dear little girl, you are not invisible. Dear little girl, you are not forgettable. Dear little girl, you are not insignificant. Dear little girl, you are valuable. You can make a difference. You can be someone. You can have an impact. You can shine. Let go of the idea that you need to be useful, that you need to be needed, that you need to be productive in order to be accepted. Dear little girl, stop making yourself small so that everyone else can feel more comfortable. You are allowed to take up space. Don't let them tell you that you don't matter. Dear little girl, you don't have to stay a little girl forever. Don't try to grow up too fast, but also don't try to stay planted in a pot you've outgrown. Dear little girl, you've been lost in the dark for so long and you can't see where you're going. Trust the sun will come back eventually. But until it does, the moon is still shining and everything is going to be okay. Dear little girl, take the next step. Even if you can't see what it is. You can't move forward if you're still looking back. Only girls wear pink. How many of you grew up hearing this? Or pink is for girls and blue is for boys. We hear this a lot of times in elementary school or when we're very young. This idea that your gender inherently determines what options are available to you, even down to what colors you can and can't wear. Only girls wear pink. When I was younger, I loved pink and Disney princesses and all things girly, but not for the reasons you think. You see, I was raised as an only girl. I had 3 older brothers and 1 younger. And whenever people hear that, they usually go, "Oh wow, you were an only girl? Your brothers must have adored you. Oh, I bet they spoiled you rotten. They were probably really protective of you. No. My brothers made sure I knew from a very young age that because I was a girl, I was weak. They told me that I would never be as good as them at anything. They told me that because I was a girl, because I was younger, because I was outnumbered, because they were bigger, faster, stronger, smarter than me, that my opinion didn't matter and that I didn't have a voice. So I wore pink as an act of defiance, to let them know that I could be the very embodiment of what they considered a girl to be and still rise above them. I wore pink to differentiate myself and represent myself as an individual. It was the only color that I felt was uniquely mine because the others wouldn't go near it. In wearing pink, I decided to fight back. Although I also fought back literally as well. My parents told me that when I was little, I would run around the house in a pink tutu, chasing them with a purple lightsaber. So for me, wearing pink was my way of saying, yes, I am a girl, and I will not be ignored.